Newspapers. Publishers of the Greenwich Post, New Canaan Advertiser, the Darien Times, the Ridgefield Press, the Weston Forum, the Wilton Bulletin, the Reading Pilot, the Lewisboro Ledger, the Monroe Courier, the Eastern Courier, the Trumbull Times, Fairfield Sun, Shelton Herald, the Stratford Star, the Milford Mirror, and the Valley Gazette.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com. The leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.
Welcome to HAN Radio's Behind the News, the show where three veteran Connecticut news editors go behind the stories with the columnists, photographers, reporters, and editors who covered them. They will discuss not only Hersam Acorn stories, but take a look at the media landscape in Fairfield and Westchester counties. They will discuss it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. With John Kovach and Josh Fisher, here's your host, Kate Czaplinski.
Thanks, Rob. Well, we are Joshless today, John Kovach, but we're going to forge ahead.
I miss him.
I miss him too.
It's hard.
It's
but
hard.
We're gonna have
it's
to.
really hard.
We're gonna have to.
So we brought
Make
in
it
Melvin
fun.
Mason, the Stratford Star editor, to join us and hang and talk about a lot of the big news happening in Stratford this week, including the announced sale of Sikorsky.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. Anytime the number $9 billion is brought up, you know it's something major. Everyone had this thought that Sikorsky was eventually going to be sold. No one ever expected it to spin off and be its own company. Everyone thought it was eventually going to be a company that was going to be elsewhere, and it turns out that Lockheed Martin was were the lucky winners. Lucky if you have $9 billion on your hands.
Yeah, it's but is southwestern Connecticut the winner if Lockheed Martin keeps everything here?
Oh, definitely, no question. Right now, there were a lot of fears, of course. You know, when they first announced earlier this year that the company was going to be sold or spun off. That the big thing was there were all these rumors about possibly them going to North Carolina or somewhere else where they felt it was a little bit more business friendly. And to hear the folks at Sikorsky actually tell us, you know, I got a chance to contact someone from UTC, and they said, actually talk with someone Lockheed Martin, and they said, we're going to stay in Connecticut. We're going to stay in Connecticut. We're going to stay in Stratford right now. So it's a huge sigh of relief, and kind of play to what Mayor Harkins had said all along. He had said, hey, look, we're going to stay in Stratford. You know, they're going to stay in Stratford, and we're looking forward to working with them as pioneers of aviation.
And Lockheed Martin does not have a helicopter branch, correct?
No,
so there's no way that they could just take the business into their existing operation or fold it together. This is them getting into the helicopter business. So they still need all of that equipment and the mental know-how that's available over at Sikorsky.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, Sikorsky, everything is all set up. Everything is locked in place. So it would really make not much sense for them to move unless they actually were already building towards establishing a helicopter division. And right now, Sikorsky is probably the leader in that endeavor right now, so there's no point in them leaving. Maybe they might, I'm not going to say for sure, but maybe down the line, maybe 15, 20, 30 years down the line, they could think about doing that. But at this point, it makes zero sense. Everything's already there.
I hope you're right, and I think you are, and there's a nostalgic side to it as well. This is where the helicopter was born. This is where Igor Sikorsky invented the helicopter. You would really hate to see it move out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge investment. It's a huge investment in Stratford. It's a huge investment in southwestern Connecticut. It's a point of pride for a lot of people.
Right.
Always talk about saying, "Look, Sikorsky." You always, and actually, I remember when I traveled. Since I live up in Derby and I traveled down to Stratford. You always see on Route 110 or Main Street when you go to Stratford that helicopter, and you would always occasionally see like little kids like getting pictures on it with their cell phones of the helicopter right outside of Sikorsky's headquarters.
Right. Well, most of my family was born and raised in Stratford, and I just know this week, like before the news was announced, everyone was really nervous that, and then there was, like you said, that sigh of relief. Have you talked to any Stratford officials about their reactions to it?
Just got a chance to talk with Mayor Harkins, and Mayor Harkins has basically said, he's just basically looking forward to having a bright future with Sikorsky remaining in Stratford. I also have a call in to Mary Dean, from the Stratford Chamber of Commerce and the Greater Bridgeport Business Council, to see what their thoughts are. To kind of expand on that.
Great.
There's another plant making news in Stratford, and that is
Oh,
the
it's always
water
making
pollution
news lately, it
control
seems.
plant. Where does that stand?
Let me just say, it never ends.
No, it
It
doesn't.
never ends. Yeah, right now, obviously, since the last time I came on, I mentioned, remember my line at the end of the show where I said, you ever heard about the courts? Well, the folks over in the WPCA Stratford Get Answers group, they happen to successfully get their legal challenges. They got the ruling from the Superior Court. The town asked for expedited appeals to the state to the Supreme Court and the Appellate Court. Both were shot down for the expedited appeals, and they essentially tapped out and said, "Okay, forget it. We're going to have a referendum," and that's what's going to happen November 3rd, Election Day. When you go to choose your candidates, you're also going to decide whether or not Stratford goes forward with the sale of the Water Pollution Control Authority to the Greater New Haven Water Pollution Control Authority.
Does that de facto make the water pollution control plant sale the issue for the 2015 municipal election in Stratford, or is there more to it?
No, I think this is pretty much the issue. I would be surprised if there were any other major issues that come up. Obviously, you talk about the Shakespeare Theater, and I know you're very well versed in that. And obviously a lot of things about taxes in schools, especially the renovation of Stratford High School, and what's gonna happen with there. But no, the WPCA is the issue. Everyone talks about it. Everyone says we need to get this done. And of course, maybe it could be just me hearing it from a lot of the people from the WPCA Stratford Get Answers group, or the people who are opposing the sale. But yeah, I think it's very much going to be an issue.
How does the sale of a water pollution plant generate that much interest? I mean, because it doesn't seem
Right.
like a hot button issue. And yet 6,000 people signed a petition.
Yep.
It went to court. It was overturned. Is it endemic of something in the administration that they're going after, or is it as simple as the sale on its face?
Actually, I hate to hedge here, but I think it's a little mix of both. There have been plenty of complaints about the Harkins administration from several people, including about the theaters I mentioned before. But the sale of the WPCA, which some people consider, which is weird to say when you say a sewer plant is a point of pride, but at the same time, but at the same time, it is.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, Mel.
I was there for the opening, and they were pretty proud of it. I was.
I would definitely say that it is a very big issue for people, because they keep on saying the plant is profitable, it makes money. There's no reason to sell a profitable asset to an authority that that basically already has these little towns, and the fact that these other places don't even have sewer plants. So what's the point of actually them adding their own plant when Stratford can just have it on their own? So I definitely think that's going to draw out a lot of voters, more than in any usual, I guess not really midterm election, but non-presidential year election. I think it's definitely going to bring out a lot of voters in Stratford.
A point was made to me this week by someone who supports the sale, that those who oppose it said it wasn't political, but now a number of them are running for office this November as well.
It's weird, yeah. It's kind of hard to say that it's not political when you have 2-3 candidates who are on both sides of the ballot, who plan to challenge for town council seats that that basically were involved in basically trying to have these sales shut down. Obviously, we know that Tina Marie Maness, she is running for the 10th district on the Democratic side, and of course Marianne Antezo. In case you haven't read StratfordStar.com today, she plans to petition Gavin Forrester on the Republican side. She plans to have a primary. She plans to force a primary for the 7th district Republican nomination. So yeah, it's definitely I can't say that it's not a political issue. It very much is now.
And that town council is very up for grabs,
because
so many of the members' term limit out.
Yep, exactly. Right now it's five of the members are leaving because their terms are actually 4 members are leaving right now because their terms are up. And we also found out last night that the chairman, Joe Kubik, he's not running again, and Peter Massey in the 1st district, he's not running again. And the Democrats, for the first time in a while, are fielding 10 candidates for all for every single seat.
Yeah, there were years when I was there that they did not field in certain districts. So they certainly seem energized going into this election season. And I think the Democrats in Stratford feel they have a good issue and a good hold, given that there were 6,000 signatures necessary, or collected, nearly double the amount necessary to force that referendum.
Yep, exactly. And I would say the WPCA, and as I mentioned, Shakespeare, those issues seem to galvanize a lot of Democrats, or just people who just simply just do not want Shakespeare to become this place where this potential hotel is going to be built, or inn, if you want to call it. Obviously, Stratford Stage Group is planning to build this inn along with renovating and repairing the theater. But a lot of people basically say, no, we just want it to remain as a theater, and we don't need a inn on there, even though David Reed is basically saying that he wants to transform it into this grand thing that's going to make Stratford a tourist attraction. Yes, your hometown will become a tourist attraction, Kate.
Mm.
And
It already is. Two roads.
Hey, look, and mind you,
Off the hook. 2 roads.
I'll say that I definitely have to enjoy myself a beverage from Two Roads. I've been there twice and have yet to enjoy. But just to go back to what I was saying, yeah, I definitely think that.
Dropping a remote hint or something there.
Oh,
Maybe.
hey, look, I'll be sure to drop by again. Like I said, Two Roads is a fantastic facility, but for real, I just think that definitely the WPCA and Shakespeare are definitely the two issues that are really going to drive. And they also just felt like Harkins has not been as straightforward as they would like him to be, including the fact that the sale of the WPCA was voted on in April, and it took within 3 days of the public hearing that they voted to have it sold.
Which is amazing given the overwhelming majority that he had when elected.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And like I said, and of course, you also have another thing too, which it's not really a deep issue, but it's a funny issue, of course, about Jason Santee, who was with the Democrats, who regularly sided with Harkins. And I know last night that the Republicans kept on saying that, Jason Santee has proven that he's proven that he wants to cooperate with all sides, but yet all of a sudden he goes to the Republican side. Now he's a candidate for the Board of Education on the Republican side.
And that's one of the where I have to chuckle. People term limit out, and then they just move to another board. So Jason Santee term limited out on the town council, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
And just run for a different board.
Yeah, and switch parties at the same time. And of course, I know Stephanie Phillips, who I know Jason Santee has had quite critical things to say about. They've all found it funny that here he is, hopping over to the other side of the political pond per se. Yeah, and obviously we also have what is his name, Mr. Mike Henrique.
Mike Henrique?
Yeah, Mike Henrique.
Coming back?
Yep, he's coming back. He's running for the 10th district.
He's former chairman. He was chairman when I was editor.
Yeah, exactly. And he made sure to mention that to me last night when I got a chance to interview some of the candidates. And obviously, I got a picture of all of them together. And it's going to be a very weird race, and I think it's going to be a lot more competitive and a lot more loud than your typical non-presidential year election is going to be.
I think that
right.
in a lot of our towns too, which is interesting. Those municipal elections, man, they keep you busy.
Oh no, trust me. Between the WPCA, the elections, Shakespeare, the schools, it's just going to be crazy. And not to mention, since the schools, can I ask you guys a question?
Please.
Why is it that so many retailers now have these back to school
things don't get me going
ridiculously early? I mean,
why is Christmas stuff out before Thanksgiving, Melvin? I don't know.
Good point.
There's an
when
ad.
I was a boy.
I know.
Well, there you go. Well, no, there's an ad now where they do a countdown, and then I think they play Old Lang Syne. Like your cat, and it's all back to school. I'm like, it's July.
I think the best back to school ad that ever existed was the one years ago, the Staples one, where they're playing. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and the dad is like dancing and throwing pencils into and the kids are just like walking behind him. That was a good one.
Well, do keep in mind though that school does start earlier than it used used to. I mean, these kids are going back
it
to last
kinda
week in
comes up
August
quickly,
now.
you know.
Well,
It
that's
does.
true.
It does. But
Yeah, but I just wanted to point that out because I just find it I'm like, God, these kids, 2 days after 4th of July, here comes, come and get your pencils and
Right.
and backpacks and everything. I'm going, geez, guys, can you let these kids go
Enjoy
to
the
the beach
summer.
and, enjoy the summer for a little bit?
yeah.
Exactly.
And by the way, get off my lawn.
That's true, yeah.
All right, Melvin. Well, it sounds like you have your hands full at the Stratford Star as always.
Yep, absolutely. Like I said, when I got a chance to take over the editor here, they told me you will not be short of stories to write on, and they were more than right. I've been pretty much busy every day of the week. I do get the weekends off, but even then, occasionally
Things pop up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, John sent me a couple of things to basically say,
Of
hey,
course
this
he
happened
did.
in Stratford.
I may
Of
have.
course he did.
I may have.
You try to
My
get out,
job.
but they keep pulling you back in.
I
right?
know.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Oh yeah. Well, Melvin Mason of the Stratford Star. So nice for you to come on and talk to us again.
I'm glad to come back on and have me again. And like I said, I know there's going to be a lot more about Stratford to talk about, or if you want to even talk about back to school, which, by the way, I'm going to have to do stories about that too.
All right, Melvin. Well, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to have on Hayden Turek of the Wilton Bulletin to talk about his distracted driving story this week. So that's coming up on Behind the News after this.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
Spring is finally in the air and our favorite season is upon us. The Dock Shop is all geared up with a great selection of fishing tackle, custom fishing rods, and all the latest accessories to replenish your tackle box. The Dock Shop has also just brought out the newest spring fashion apparel from Montauk Tackle, Altered Latitudes, Kaylee Smith, and Margaritaville Apparel. Need some new foul weather gear for those chilly spring mornings? The Dock Shop is loaded up with Grundens and Stormer in a variety of styles and sizes. Ladies, we've got you covered as well with spring apparel and the newest designs of coastal jewelry, bags, and accessories. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, Connecticut. Visit us at dockshop.com.
August means tennis in Connecticut, and the top players are gonna be here. Be there as some of the world's best women compete for the title at the Connecticut Open presented by United Technologies. And the boys are back for the Men's Legends event presented by PowerShares Series with John McEnroe, James Blake, and more. Experience a variety of food trucks, hands-on activities, live music, and so much more for the kids and family. It all adds up to one legendary week. August 21st through the 29th at the Connecticut Tennis Center in New Haven. Get your tickets at ctopen.org.
Does advertising on hanradio.com work? Just ask Coastal Orthopedics. They ran spots with us, and within 24 hours they had 21 walk-ins and 8 calls to their new immediate care center. To advertise on hanradio.com, call 203-417-5199 and ask for Marianne Hersam.
You're listening to Hersam Acorn Radio.
And we're back with Behind the News on hanradio.com/livestream. Kate Czaplinski with John Kovach. And on the phone, we have Hayden Turek, who is a Wilton Bulletin reporter. And Hayden hasn't been on HAN Radio yet, John. So this is his first time. So welcome, Hayden.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you. You're in the Ridgefield office today, I assume.
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, your story this week on distracted driving was interesting. It was the lead story on the front page of the Wilton Bulletin. And it was kind of interesting because in Wilton, I guess officials there are starting to get concerned that distracted driving is becoming a bigger problem. And there was even a recent accident. Can you tell us about that?
Right. Well, the problem is twofold. I mean, there is the distracted driving, and the police have they've had their initiative these past couple weeks working on trying to prevent that, and but the accident has also brought up a problem with the intersection itself. A lot of people in town find the intersection to be unacceptable, and the problem is that right before, if you're traveling northbound, this is the intersection of Danbury Road and School Road. So you're traveling northbound, and say you're in the left lane about to take a turn. The southbound lane, as it's coming your way, curves a little to the left right at the last second. So our first selectman, Bill Brennan, has expressed concern that it's unsafe because if you're in that left lane and you're at a red light and the car's coming the other way, it's coming straight at you until the very last possible second, and then it turns. And that's what happened in this case. And yes, the driver was distracted, but he was coming down, and he didn't make that turn. He didn't make that last-minute adjustment of, I don't know, say 10 or so degrees. And he scraped the side of the car, took off the rear axle, totaled the bus, and actually, according to police, his car went another 140 feet with only 3 wheels before it stopped.
Whoa.
Sounds like speed was as much a factor as distraction.
Well, I don't have any information on the speed, but yeah, he was programming his GPS and, according to police, drinking a cup of coffee at the same time while he was driving.
Hey.
How many hands does he have?
What was that?
How many hands does he have?
Only 2, and that's the problem.
That's the problem. That gets to the root of it.
But that is a high-speed section of road as well.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people complain about how fast people travel down. That's a U.S. highway, and the speed limit is 45 miles an hour, and people are late to work. They commute down that road all the time, and speeding is definitely an issue. So the answer is no. I would not be surprised if he was traveling faster than he should have been.
They actually have one of those each way they have those interactive speed signs, correct?
Yeah. I'm not sure about southbound, but certainly northbound.
No, they do. It's up just below the bridge over the Norwalk River. There's one.
Yes, yeah.
And now, Hayden, so police have kind of stepped up distracted driving stops recently. Can you tell us, how many they've had and, while they've been doing it?
Well, according to them, from Monday, July 6th to Sunday, July 13th, they made 56 stops for cell phone use and issued 33 infractions for that. But as far as, is that greater than normal? It's really hard to say. I mean, police are always keeping an eye out for that infraction, and they've been focusing on it and keeping a record of it since July 6th. But yeah, I can't attest as to whether or not that's an increase or a decrease. But they are doing what they can to prevent this dangerous behavior.
Yeah, and it seems like a good number to me, at least, John.
It does. It seems significant.
It seems significant.
Well, if it's 1 week, you divide 56 by 7, that's 8 stops a day, roughly.
Right. And now where this accident occurred that we were talking about, this intersection came up at a recent Board of Selectmen meeting, right?
Yes, it did.
So what was the discussion there?
Well, this accident with the dial-a-ride bus, it's brought up the problem with that intersection, and that's what they discussed at the first selectmen meeting. They are less concerned with the distracted driving and more concerned with the design of that intersection. And now it's gotten to a point where Mr. Ross Hand, the driver of the dial-a-ride bus, almost lost his life. So they've identified this as a serious problem, and now they're going to pursue help from the state. And the DOT, the Department of Transportation, has already been down. They've milled away some of the lines, and they've put some guidelines, some cat tracks, some guidelines to show where the new lanes are going to be, and hopefully this will be a viable solution. But they will they will add new lines, and after they add the new lines, then the town will cooperate with the state in monitoring the intersection for a while to see if that solution is viable.
What is the status of the dial-a-ride? I mean, that van suffered significant damage. Do they have a loaner, or is the service suspended?
The service is suspended, to my understanding. The bus is totaled. I mean, the rear axle just can clean off.
So what? I mean, those services are vital to a large population that doesn't drive. What options do they have right now?
The options, I mean, Ross Hand has said himself that they've been seriously scrambling to try and make up for the lack of the bus. And my guess is that they're just working overtime at this point. But, I don't know. I don't know if they're taking their service elsewhere or what's going on with that, but they're down a bus right now.
Wow.
Yeah, that I find to be another long-term effect there.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that these people have lost a service that they depend upon to get to doctor's appointments and the grocery store and do things they need.
Right, all because of someone trying to multitask while driving. Well,
Yep, it's a serious problem.
Yeah, well, Hayden, what else are you working on this week in Wilton?
This week in Wilton, I'd have to look at my notebook. I'm working on a story about, actually sort of like a collective story. I went to Wilton Center and I interviewed a bunch of tenants there. And as you might know, a lot of businesses in Wilton are failing, and new ones are popping up right and left. And there seems to be a greater problem there. And a lot of people are suggesting that it might not be the rent rates, but it might lean more towards corporate management moving in where private landlords used to reign.
Interesting. That is really
That
interesting.
is an interesting trend story that we need to look at Hersam Acorn wide.
Right, definitely. And I know we were in Wilton Center last week for sidewalk sales, and there were a lot of new businesses that we talked to, John.
There were a number.
Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty cool. Hayden.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much for coming on and talking with us. I hope we didn't scare you away and you'll come back on again in the future.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Hayden.
Hayden Turek of the Wilton Bulletin. It's 12:35 on Behind the News. I'm not used to saying Behind the News anymore. I want to say coffee break because it's been a while since we've done a Behind the News.
It has been.
Yeah. But we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to bring Rob Adams on.
Rob Adams going to come on by phone. He's down at the Babe Ruth Regionals in Trumbull. One game in the books. 11 more to go before the semifinals.
All right. Well, that's coming up on Behind the News after this.
Spring is finally in the air, and our favorite season is upon us. The Dock Shop is all geared up with a great selection of fishing tackle, custom fishing rods, and all the latest accessories to replenish your tackle box. The Dock Shop has also just brought out the newest spring fashion apparel from Montauk Tackle, Altered Latitudes, Kaylee Smith, and Margaritaville Apparel. Need some new foul weather gear for those chilly spring mornings? The Dock Shop is loaded up with Grundens and Stormer in a variety of styles and sizes. Ladies, we've got you covered as well with spring apparel and the newest designs of coastal jewelry, bags, and accessories. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, Connecticut. Visit us at dockshop.com.
Alliance. We are an industry leader in coordinating transportation for large events such as corporate road shows, conferences, and special events. Our team of experts understands the dynamics and logistics of high-pressure situations and complex arrangements, all within a rapidly changing environment. Since 1999, we have added charter jets, event management, and personal protection to our range of services. Mention this ad for $25 off your next round-trip reservation. Alliance and you. Together, we can achieve the extraordinary. 855-546-6996 or alliancelimo.com.
It's lots of characters. specializing in children's birthday parties with your child's favorite characters. When you want to party hardy, when you need to celebrate, call us, we won't be late. We help create lasting memories for you and your child on their special day. Call us at 203-590-1791 or visit our website at lotsofcharacters.org for more information and to see our party packages. Lots of Characters, 203-590-1791 or online at lotsofcharacters.org.
Connecticut Rockefeller Estate is Westchester County's top cultural attraction and is now open for the season. Don't miss out. Go online to hudsonvalley.org to plan your visit. Take a drive out to beautiful Sleepy Hollow, New York, and enjoy Connecticut's stunning architecture, breathtaking gardens, expansive art galleries, and commanding Hudson River views. From world-class art by Picasso and Warhol to expertly tended gardens, there's something for everyone. Connecticut Rockefeller Estate, a National Trust for Historic Preservation Landmark.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com.
Welcome back to Behind the News on HANradio.com, streaming live on the Hersam Acorn Network. John Kovach with Kate Czaplinski, Eric Gendron, and Donna Lang on the controls. We are coming at you video only today because our next guest is overdosing on baseball. Rob Adams joining us by phone from Trumbull High School. Rob, 1 game's in the books and a little bit of a historic outing there.
Yeah, I'm starting to get used to calling no-hitters, John. It was kind of fun. Game number 1 turned out to be a no-hitter, although a mercy rule no-hitter. A young man from New Milford named Austin Dutcher threw a no-hitter 1 over the minimum. In fact, he missed a 3-2 pitch that was right on the border. That was the difference between a no-hitter and a perfect game today, as New Milford gets the win over Nashua, New Hampshire, 10-0. But Dutcher's numbers are just the kind of stuff that will just stun you. He was that good. 10 strikeouts for this young man with 1 walk on 75 pitches through 6 innings of work.
Wow. So now, where's that leave him? Because they mercy ruled that game. Where's he sit now in terms of pitching on one of the other one of the games coming up?
Well, the Trumbull coach was just explaining it to me. I know you had him on Nutmeg or on Coffee Break yesterday. He was explaining to me that pitchers get 7 innings every 2 games. So Dutcher can throw an inning tomorrow, and then, or he can throw nothing tomorrow, and he'll have 7 all over again come Sunday.
Okay.
It's amazing to think that you can throw that many pitches, in that short of a time, but that is the rule.
Yeah, and I don't know how they come up with these. It's people smarter than me who come up with that. But some of these counts seem a little high to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. But again, he didn't throw a lot of pitches, as I mentioned, just 75 in the 6 innings of work that he threw. So, you like his chances to come back Sunday, but then again, they've already got 1 win, and you have to be either second or first in your division. There's an A and a B division, so you need to be one of those top 2 teams in each division out of 4 teams total, and that gets you to the semifinal Monday with the championship on Tuesday.
Now, it's two 4-team pools. They play 3 games over today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Top 2 teams in each division, in each pool, advance. Who's up next?
Next up, we have Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and Augusta, Maine. They are beginning to kind of make their way into their respective dugouts right now. In fact, I believe I'm spying Pittsfield looking very almost Red Sox-ish, with a lot of red, white, and blue off to my right in the first base dugout. So, of course, that means Augusta's on the other side. I saw them a little earlier as well. So, really good atmosphere here. And they had a nice crowd for a 10:30 game. But it's also a very comfortable day. Temps in the mid-70s, some puffy clouds now overhead. But for the most part, very blue skies. It's really Sunday night and Monday that you worry about weather-wise.
Yeah, those, I think, could be a little bit dicey. The rest of the weekend seems, at least in the forecaster's eyes, to be perfect baseball weather, and you certainly had it this morning. Now you've got 2 more. You've got 1:30, 4:30, and 7:30, right?
That's right. So we've got plenty more baseball to go here. 1:30, as you said, 1:30, 4:30, and 7:30 with Trumbull playing tonight. And Trumbull being the host team, they will play tonight, and they'll have the opening ceremonies tonight as well. So it'll be a nice atmosphere. I was told that all the teams and all the coaches will be back here for a little while tonight for that ceremony, and it'll just be a nice kickoff to this tournament.
Very cool. Great stuff.
Yeah, have fun out there, Rob.
Can't wait to get out there and join you.
I hope to see you both out here this weekend. Kate, I know you're busy tomorrow, but definitely we'll see you Monday and Tuesday for coffee break. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a great family atmosphere out here, so I hope to see you both before it's all said and done.
Great.
Very cool. Thanks, Rob Adams. On the audio end, you can hear every game of the Babe Ruth Regional Tournament from Trumbull High School at hanradio.com all weekend long. Kate?
All right, John. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about our drone. Because what is it today?
It's part of Drone Week.
Awesome. All right, so that's coming up on Behind the News after this.
Your child has fallen and broken his arm. You need to see an orthopedist fast. Think Coastal Ortho Express in Norwalk. Don't wait hours in the ER. Save a trip and money by going straight to an orthopedic specialist at Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care in Norwalk. No appointment necessary. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, 203-845-2070. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or call 203-845-2070. Fast.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. 8332 or online at stratfordsmile.com.
Now you can keep up with what's happening in Darien with the convenience of the Darien Times Online. Your choice. Print or digital subscription for just $45 a year. Or get the print and digital bundle for just $10 more, $55 a year. To subscribe to the Darien Times, go to hersamsecure.com/CIRC or call the circulation department at 203-894-3388. The Darien Times, now in print and online. Don't miss a single issue. Subscribe today.
Kycote Rockefeller Estate is Westchester County's top cultural attraction and is now open for the season. Don't miss out. Go online to hudsonvalley.org to plan your visit. Take a drive out to beautiful Sleepy Hollow, New York, and enjoy Kycote's stunning architecture, breathtaking gardens, expansive art galleries, and commanding Hudson River views. From world-class art by Picasso and Warhol to expertly tended gardens, there's something for everyone. Kycote Rockefeller Estate, a national trust for historic preservation landmark.
Hersam Acorn and hanradio.com.
12:45 on Behind the News. Kate Czaplinski with John Kovach. We're streaming at hanradio.com/livestream. And John, video is perfect for what we're about to show you because the HAN network got a drone this week.
We have a drone. We're hoping to get Chief Operating Officer and Aviation Desk Marty Hersam on to talk about this, but we have obtained a drone. You can see the footage right now on the live screen. This is our office. And the steadiness and the sharpness of the photo, I really can't believe that this is essentially a model airplane with a camera mounted on it.
It's amazing. It's amazing how steady it stays. And, this will be really helpful to us, as far as maybe some traffic issues that might come up, events that we go to and cover, sporting events as well.
Fires,
right,
incidents like that. And I also see and have discussed, I think it has many applications for some of our other shows. It'd be great for, say, a Gathering of the Vibes type coverage.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a lot of uses for it for Yankee fishermen. Imagine the stream footage you're going to get.
Imagine all those fish you can spot from up there, that aerial view. You'll be like a hawk. But we do want to mention there has been a lot of news this week, especially about the wildfires out west and people flying drones over them and it being unsafe. But, we're definitely into responsible drone usership.
Yeah, you're actually beholden to the FAA if you use it for business purposes. The problem that they're having out in the wildfires, because I immediately read up on that when idea we were getting a drone, is people recreationally flying
Yes,
them.
it's recreational users.
And the concern is that they'll get into the flight paths of the aircraft that they use to drop.
They'll easily get sucked up into
right
an
into the
aircraft or
engine.
helicopter, which would bring it down, which would be very dangerous. So there has been a lot of news on that, but this is going to be our news drone used responsibly.
I mean, the miles that you can clearly see in the image that's up on our screen right now.
You know, that video, it's so clear and so steady. I was just thinking while we were on break, well, why do we even need to have these studio cameras anymore? We could just have the drone sort of fly around us, hover, zoom in, zoom out.
We did get our drone from Milford Photo, and they tested out their drone, and they all tried to use it inside, and apparently that's not something you can do. It'll go haywire. It needs its GPS system. It needs to be outdoors.
Aha.
So we could not have it hover in front of us while we did the show. It would be pretty much disastrous. But it would be really funny if somebody else recorded that happening. Duck, John.
There's also a limit.
Coming right at us.
Down while I get my hair cut. There's a 20-minute. It can only hover for 20 minutes in one place, and then it has to move. But the technology on this, it senses how much power it has left, and will retrace its steps via GPS back to where it took off. Knows exactly, okay, I've got just enough power to get back. I'm going to start backtracking.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So I really can't wait to use it on a story.
Mm-hmm. We are looking forward to that. So far, we've flown it around some places. We have a YouTube video up of New Canaan, which was gorgeous.
That was
Marty
fantastic.
Hersam took.
Waveney Park.
Yeah. Well, John, it's about time to take a look at some of the top stories on our
Yes, it
Hersam
is.
Acorn websites this week. What's standing out to you?
Well, unfortunately, the top two stories are obituaries for people in their 20s
Really young
who
people.
died. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible. And one of them is about how this person battled addiction. And, you know, we have another heroin story in the top stories about a death farther down. And we're just seeing it get worse and worse. And it seems to be, as you know, I've written at the Trumbull Times when I interviewed some people involved, you know, in trying to fight the heroin epidemic, that it's young men in their mid-20s who are dying. And a lot of times people in obituaries, you don't give the exact cause of death. But lately, people, it seems, are trying to be honest and talk about what somebody's going through and what they went through and say that, you know, they died of, you know, drugs and alcohol or heroin addiction. So
I think they're also trying to caution other families and keep other people from having to go through what they have gone through. And it really is how much obituaries dominate the top 10 this week. I've never seen a week like this.
Yeah, rough week.
Lieutenant James Wynn, who was the first African-American police officer in Darien, he passed. The death of a former teacher, Charles Bristol, in Milford. So,
another one of the
not a
top
good week.
stories, the Confederate flag being flown in Ridgefield, and actually some neighbors who are from South Carolina being angry about that. And the person basically saying that it doesn't represent any hatred or racism, that, you know, they don't want to change history. It's an historical flag. So, you know, this whole debate that's been happening nationwide came to Ridgefield this week.
Well, the Nazi flag's historical too.
Right.
It's, as is the as is the flag of you know, any number of folks that marched off to war for a hateful, terrible cause. Their flags are historical also.
I love Don Ang.
He gets fired up. He gets fired up on this one.
So, I mean, it's interesting. I think the person, from what I understand, wasn't so comfortable with this spotlight being put on the fact that they hung a Confederate flag, but you're hanging a Confederate flag on your house.
You're hanging
what
it
did you think
public,
would
what
happen?
did you think would happen? Of course, you know, the local paper, when somebody contacts them about that, you know, I mean, I think there was something similar recently in Stratford, except it was the Nazi flag. And that same man who hangs that Nazi flag also has a Confederate flag, and that was out recently because I drive by that house in Stratford. So
I'm sure he's completely not a racist.
yeah, I'm sure. Just loves racist flags.
He just exactly. It's just heritage. He is a German from South Carolina. You know, maybe he's he represents his heritage.
Oh boy.
Number of hits on a story that was in error in the New Canaan Advertiser about a business closing. Not going to name it because the business isn't closed. That error's been corrected, but it did get a lot of traffic.
Hey, got that business's name out there a lot, though. You have to say
that is trumble.
You have to wonder: is any publicity good publicity?
Possibly,
but we hate to make mistakes, you know.
And Trumbull Shopping Center's bringing new businesses to town.
Yeah, there's a couple new shopping centers coming in. It's really exciting, actually. One in Madison Village, an area where there's really not much in the immediate vicinity, and there's going to be, you know, a new restaurant, a liquor store, a really cool-sounding gift shop, and that's almost done. It's going to be open in August. And then there's another one getting built right now in the Long Hill Green area, which, if you're familiar with Trumbull at all, it's right next to Marissa's and where Luigi's used to be. So, I mean, I think it's nice. It's some new development is coming in and some new shopping and restaurants, because something Trumbull sorely lacks is kind of that community downtown feeling, and there's not many places to go out to eat, but more are opening all the time now.
Is Trumbull focused on the mall, or has it been previously in terms of its commerce, and we're just now seeing it expand back out again? Is that the case?
I mean, definitely the mall has really undergone a renaissance in the last few years, and it's brought in some high-end stores, some nice stuff, but I don't know if it's been a focus. I think, you know, the town isn't a landlord for any of these places, so they can't really control what's happening. And for example, Trumbull Center, you know, privately owned, and there's supposedly a lot of changes happening there that should be for the better. But, you know, it's been kind of slow to happen, and a lot of businesses have left that area. So I think when a lot of those businesses closed up, it really kind of hurt.
Right. It really hurt them when Porcelli's left. And then, and also the thing is with Trumbull Center is that Trumbull folks kind of think of it as their downtown, but it's kind of it's oddly laid out, because you have a 6-lane state highway that kind of goes right through the middle of it, and then as you head up towards Trumbull High School up on Strobel Road, there's also it's a fairly busy road that goes right through that cuts off one half of Trumbull Center from the other. And the other thing is, I mean, it's a privately owned development. It's the name of the development is Trumbull Center, but it was never really intended to be like a town green or a gathering place. It really is. It's a shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
And just outside of the top 10, but I'll mention it for the number of hits that it got, was Chris Gerwig, the Darien High School hockey coach, taking a leave of absence, being replaced by his longtime assistant, Mac Budd. And we had Mac Budd on Nutmeg Sports the other day, and it was a great interview, but it just shows how important hockey is to that town.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're coming up on 12:55, John. I know after us is Radio Arts and Leisure. They're recording, and they're going to play later.
Correct.
Because
we will have more baseball coming up all afternoon from Trumbull High School. Rob Adams at the Babe Ruth Regional at Trumbull High. We'll have games. First pitches are scheduled for 1:30, 4:30, 7:30. I'm not sure how set in stone those times are, but all weekend long, and that's going to be the schedule. 1:30 or 10:30, 1:30, 4:30, 7:30. Today, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we're out on the road on Monday.
Monday we're there. Tuesday we're there. Semifinals are Monday night at 4:30 and 6:30. 4:30, 7:30. Final 6:30 Tuesday night.
Great. Well, should we wrap things up for this edition of Behind the News? We missed you, Josh, but he'll be back. So have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com.